Silence is the answer to all questions. Or one can say that the silence is the ultimate question. Why is it like that? It's better to say that silence is the ultimate question than the answer. Because when you get an answer, you forget, you fall asleep again. But when you ask a question, you are alert. So this space of question, when any answer which is given by the mind is just. You just let go it to pass. And you stay in the question. And this is what meant by self-inquiry. And the ultimate question is obviously, who am I? But even who will do? You ask this question, and you wait and see. You don't wait for anything in particular. Just wait. Just waiting. Without even waiting. I wanted to read you one page from, a short one, from the book of Papaji, Prose and Poetry of Dancing Emptiness. The book is called This. See, Prose and Poetry of the Dancing Emptiness. Just a page I wanted to read. There is no question of having time for this or not, because it is that which is through all time. Your true nature is awareness. It cannot be practiced. If you don't know this, awareness turns outward toward manifestation, and there is suffering. Turn your face inward toward the source of I. Then the reflection of self falls on the mind turned towards self, dissolving this mind into self. Turn toward the unmanifest, towards self and peace. You have the choice. For just an instant, reject everything possible, and you will find that in which all is. Then manifestation is the cosmic dance. This is a self-inquiry, one of the expressions of it. Yeah. When you turn your attention toward this sense of I, and you just abide in it. When he says reject everything possible, it just means reject. It's not an act of doing, but you don't touch any labels, any opinions, any positions of the mind. So it's not that you're rejecting anything real. You just don't touch that which is unreal. To see that which is real, you need to let go of that which is unreal. And letting go is simpler than holding on to it. It's so simple. Mind cannot grasp this simplicity at all. Mind looks for holding onto something, to be supported by something. But absolute simplicity, nothing is needed. And it's just available here and now, this peace. Interesting, when somebody dies, we say rest in peace. But as for ourselves, why to wait for somebody to say it to us when we go? We can rest in peace now. It's so simple. So simple. So simple that even agitation of the mind cannot touch this. Mind has no touch to that peace. To that love. So many people before us who awakened to the truth of who they are, many of them prefer to keep quiet, not to speak even. Because any word, any label, just, I can say, spoils that. But at the same time, it doesn't touch it even. So it cannot spoil that. And this peace is freedom, real freedom. It cannot be lost. The suffering begins when we believe in the thought I. So the thought arises, I, and we even don't question it, yeah? We take it for granted. And then the story starts, story of I. Now this belief in I creates in mind separate entity, yeah? Because when I say I and I believe in this thought, then I become separate. In a sense, become, yeah? I feel myself like that. I created this separateness. And then the story of I begins. The story which exists only in the thoughts, in the mind. If there is I, there is somebody else. Or there is I and something else. And then something else does not always match my expectations or how I would like it to be. And on in the mind. And all of this, we build these fortresses, we build these levels of defense, we build these castles around something which even doesn't exist, just a thought, I. A mere substitution for the depths of who we are. So self-inquiry, it's not a matter of belief. You just question the basics which were taken for granted. And you ask, who am I? And you watch this thought of I arises. And then all other thought follows. All other thoughts follow this primary thought, I. And you look on this thought, allow it to be. What is before that thought? And maybe I need to make here a distinction. The pain it's not the suffering. Pain and suffering are two different things. Pain is part of this bodily existence, right? This is how body protects itself. So pain is sometimes inevitable. It comes and goes, like different states, like different moods. Suffering is the story attached to this pain. Story of victim, story of worthlessness, of failure, of success, whatever story. Some people hold to story of success to avoid pain. Any story is avoidance. Any story is avoidance and of what is now. But obviously in our Western society, when we just let go of the thoughts, we encounter, most of us, maybe not all, but most of us will encounter meeting emotions, suppressed emotions, because we are so conditioned from our childhood what is right and what is wrong, what we should feel, what we shouldn't feel, how we should behave. And naturally, we suppress in this society, we start suppressing some emotions, pushing them into. So when we let go of the story of the mind, this is the first thing we usually encounter, the emotions. Falling into the emotions which we always avoided because we were afraid. Yeah, it's a survival phenomena. Our mind never dared to go into these, let's call them unpleasant emotions. Going into the unknown, into the forbidden, falling into the abyss. But with this gift of Gangaji, emotional inquiry, we find that meeting this, which we always avoided, is a direct way home into your wholeness, into the peace, into the silence. We stop touching the thoughts, which are naturally present because this is the mind function, create these stories, yeah, especially when we just do it first time. But when we let go of the thoughts, then there are emotions usually waiting for us. Waiting for what? Yeah, they just want to be free. As we want to be free, they want to be free. Why not? We can speak in this like this. And while we were running on the thoughts, sketching, holding onto the thoughts, avoiding the deep emotions, which we were running to understandings, holding to this. Actually, this was an act of avoidance. We were on the periphery. But when we let go of the thoughts, Just don't touch. We start meeting the effect of emotions. And if many people use, for example, meditation to feel better, and it's okay. For some time it can help. So some people say we look on the emotions from the side. You're like a detached observer. But when you look from the side, you are on the side. But home is in the center. And this center is covered by these suppressed emotions. But we're afraid of meeting anger. We're afraid of meeting fear. We're afraid of meeting sadness, grief. We're afraid of being lost completely, not understand anything. So we avoid this, we run away. And we also chase other emotions. Yeah? Like emotion of gladness, right? Emotion of love, which we hope something or somebody will give us. So we chase it. But interestingly, when we dive into emotional inquiry and we start meeting these negative monsters, we find that we don't find them actually. When we penetrate this consciousness into it without intention to get rid of it, yeah, just to experience fully, we don't find these negative emotions. Maybe I'll quote Gangaji. Gangaji once said, and I hope I quote correctly, she said, that which you are running from does not even exist. That which you are running after is already here. This is exactly that. And self-inquiry, it's not something you do and that's all. And you forget after it. You arrive home and you forget. No. Self-inquiry continues all the time. This position, if I can say position, of the question and vigilance and willingness of meeting what is. Without attaching a story to it. Story is an avoidance. Then you find that which is such a gift. And this is who you are. But it's not something you find and put it in the pocket. You cannot. Once you found it, you need to find it again next moment. And again. And again. So don't be afraid of losing. Lose everything, even the concept of what you experienced when you reach the bottomless bottom of your own peace, of your heart. Don't hold with your mind to it. It's not possible. If you hold to it, it's just a memory of what was a moment before. But this is something always fresh. Every moment in you. Every moment reborn. Fresh. But mind offers only a memory of that. Right? What was before. No. Memory is not that. Before mind has an opportunity to touch, you are that. And when mind touches, nothing wrong with it, you are still that. So no need to fight with the mind. You have to get to it back. No need to fight with the mind, because when you fight with the mind, this is the mind which is fighting the mind. No need. This is the gift of self-inquiry. Once you find, okay, I'm now lost in my thoughts, you let go again and you fall into that.